It's either light or it's darkness. Like, what's the intention behind the thing that was produced? There's a lot of light behind what was produced with this. It shines a light on the darkness. Hopefully invokes change. And I think that's what the best thing about this song is that it can invoke change in people, in their mentality, in being contrary to what is normal, what has been made normal about being obese, about being depressed, about being broke, or about allowing these things to like consume us as a society. There was a song that dropped about 2 months ago. So like we're definitely not on any sort of like viral train with this clip or this segment of talking. It was the Richmond North of Richmond by Oliver Anthony. And if that doesn't like bring anything to your mind, you've either heard the song or seen the picture of the guy singing it in his backyard. Because it was just everywhere. Like for the most part, if you're on social media, if anybody that you know has a phone or access to a computer, like you've seen something to this effect, yes. Surely. Like it was everywhere. And the reason it went viral is because it's a very raw like clip of this guy in his backyard just singing a song. Now the quality is very amazing. So shout out to that. But basically what he's talking about in the song is a lot of the things that are relating to the current status of the United States of America and like life in general. So the first way that I saw this song come out was that there was a compilation put together of a variety of people reacting to this guy singing this song, like black, white, male, female, young, old, like everybody was getting the same emotion brought out of this song. And like a lot of what it's talking about is like with the government, with work, with some of the conspiracy things about like, which don't seem to be as conspiracy anymore, regarding like the Epstein stuff, minors, and basically like a lot of the welfare, obesity, how young men are treated in the sense of like the expectation put on them by society. And I think it is a very good thing, like to bring to light. The biggest thing I had, because I listened to the song a few days ago when he sent that to me, and just to get a refresh. And as I've been thinking about it, when it comes to mind, there is a sense of victimization for what like applies to me when I'm thinking about it. So like if I was gonna play this song in the car, and it's like one of the lines is like overtime hours for bullshit pay, like basically saying like slaving my life away, like to work for a job that like is not compensating me accurately, which I get the point that he's making. He's saying like overall, like that's a lot of the state of America, like how people and employees can be treated in like bigger companies and organizations, but that like caters to a more victim mindset about the topic. So it's not like necessarily like taking ownership over what can you do to improve that like job aspect of your life. I mean, with all the negative things that are going on in the country, like overall big picture, especially what he's talking about, one of the prominent things is how much opportunity there is to create something where you are in control of the result financially. There's no lack of that. It's not like you can't go start like a business or a project or something. Everyone's situation is different, right? So like as a 20-year-old kid with not much responsibility, not the same type of responsibilities as maybe someone who's already started a family and established themselves and maybe gone to college, and like there's those situations, right? Where like I'm not necessarily speaking to that. The people I'm speaking to is more people in my demographic, where it's like the trajectory of where, like kind of in the starting point going forward. Don't let that, like the thing that he talks about, allow the victim mentality. Yeah. To like when you're playing that song and like listening to it, oh yeah, like man, like these employers, like I'm gonna go my whole life without getting mine, because I'm just going to be like slaving at it. That's the only negative thing, which I think is important to kind of like address those things first that are like maybe this is like a perspective or an angle in which you look at something which a lot of people are relating to, a lot of people are taking it as a positive, and I think it is. But like, what is a way that it could be taken too far? I think that's the only thing
Mm-hmm.
that's like, oh,
The boundaries.
yeah, is a boundary. So although it may be true, don't let it allow like the victimization of self when listening to it. That was the first thing I kind of wanted to establish. Floor is yours for either response or just your take.
One of my takes from it would be that, like, obviously there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that nobody knows about, that is now being brought to light in some capacity. There's like a whole bunch more that's definitely going on that nobody really knows what exactly is happening. And I think, like, hearing that from the song, and then, like, you just said something just now, and it made me realize something that I read this morning. 1 Timothy 5:24 and 25, it says, "Remember the sins of some people are obvious, leading them to certain judgment. But there are others whose sins will not be revealed until later. In the same way, the good deeds of some people are obvious, and the good deeds done in secret will someday come to light." And saying that, like, the sins will not be revealed until later is kind of what the song is, like, professing. Like there's a lot that's happening right now that nobody knows about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's just a lot going on. And, like, but that will be revealed, so that should give us hope. And through the song, things get brought up in, and, like, the way he like sings it, and the way he uses the words he uses, it's like it should give a little bit of hope for things to come.
Mm-hmm. I think you look at things, it's either light or it's darkness. Like, what's the intention behind the thing that was produced? There's a lot of light behind what was produced with this. I think it shines a light on the darkness
Mm-hmm.
that hopefully invokes change. And I think that's what the best thing about this song is that it can invoke change in people, in their mentality, in being contrary to what is normal, what has been made normal about being obese, about being depressed, about being broke, or about allowing these things to like consume us as a society. And a very cool thing about Oliver Anthony was, like, 30 days or so before this song got made and got went viral, he gave his life to Christ. And I don't know his full testimony on like what was he going through, what was his life like, but to know that like he put his faith in Jesus, and I think was somewhat established as a singer.
Yeah.
And so like this wasn't like his like first song and he went wild. It was just like, showed some fruit of his work that he's been putting in,
Yeah.
and a lot of people got to see it. And I think it's a cool thing when, someone who like, as people who believe in God, to see someone who is able to like put their talents to that level and shine so much light on the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great thing.
Definitely big time. Just the relatability of it, I mean, is really the major thing. The fact that it's relatable to everybody, no matter what you're going through. Like, it's just a relatable song that everyone can kind of get behind. Like, it invokes hope that, like, this isn't the only way to live life. Like, it like you said, it invokes change, and that change gives people hope.